or the political gladiatorial arena. 9 months into his unexpected prime ministership, John Howard, precise and meticulous, sat clutching a briefing paper like a man who hadn't slept in a decade. Across the room, Bob Hawke, the former Titan, was pacing, his restless energy undimmed by age, humming a forgotten Union song. Hawke stopped abruptly, his gaze locking onto Howard's reflection in the darkened monitor screen. "Look at you, Johnny. You look like a man trying to read his own obituary. What's the big secret on that paper, eh? Something about the '98 election you already know you'll lose?" Howard didn't flinch, but the paper in his hands crinkled slightly, a tiny, betraying tremor. "I'm reviewing the national interest, Bob, a concept you used to grasp before you replaced it with which horse was running the fastest. The economy is recovering, something you left on life support." Hawke's laugh was sharp, mirthless. "Life support? Johnny, I gave this country Medicare, Accord, and I saved the bloody rainforests. You're talking about a slow, painful death by 1,000 cuts from the very people who only ever wanted to cut your knees out in the first place. You know who I mean." Howard finally lifted his head, his eyes meeting Hawke's in the reflection. "The economy, Bob, is not about the grand, headline-grabbing gesture. It's about stability, certainty. The mortgage rate is down to 7%, a figure you only dreamed of reaching in your sleep. The battlers you claim to represent are keeping more of their own money." Hawke walked to the small table, poured a glass of water, and spoke to his own reflection. "I fought for those battlers before you even knew what a marginal seat was. And I gave them a vision. You give them a spreadsheet. You think they've forgotten the GST you tried to stitch them up with years ago? It's not gone, Johnny. It's just sleeping." A sudden, urgent knock. The floor manager, young and harried, poked her head in. "5 minutes, gentlemen. The segment is running long. And, Bob, the producer wants you to know they've just switched to the new footage." Hawke froze, the nonchalant facade dropping like a stone. He turned back to Howard, his expression serious, cold. "New footage? What new footage? Don't tell me they dug up the '87 tape." Howard slowly stood up, folding his briefing paper with deliberate, agonizing slowness. He avoided Hawke's gaze. His voice was barely a whisper. "I wouldn't know, Bob. But if it is the '87 tape, it will certainly make for compelling television. It's a reminder of who blinked first." Hawke took a single, predatory step toward him, everything forgotten but the man in front of him. "That tape shows you betraying your own party, Johnny. It shows your leadership dissolving live on national TV. You think I forgot? I watched you fall." Howard finally met his opponent's eyes. There was cold, unforgiving steel behind the lenses of his glasses. "And that tape, Bob, is only 30 seconds long. It doesn't show the 8 years after that. Years when I rebuilt. While you let Keating tear your legacy apart, piece by bloody piece. My return was inevitable. Yours was tragic. The applause outside swelled as the host announced their names. The floor manager gestured frantically. Hawke and Howard stood frozen, less than a metre apart. Two titans ready to walk into the light and tear down a nation's memory of the other. The door swung open, revealing the blinding studio lights. "And we're live in 5. Hawke glanced at the door, then back to Howard. A terrifying grin spread across his face. "Let's go, Prime Minister. Let's see who the Australian people really remember." Hawke strode toward the door, leaving Howard alone for a beat. Howard took a deep, stabilizing breath, adjusted his glasses, and followed, the weight of his small, conservative victory hanging heavy in the air.